Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Well, that was fun. Good evening. Welcome to Friday Night Syncretism with yours truly, Kate of Gaia, and of course, magnanimous, always intriguing, always fun, Santos Bonacci. How are you, Santo?
Very well, thanks, Kate. Yourself?
Oh, good, yeah. You know, all things considered, you know, dealing with little three-headed dogs everywhere, but, you know, other than that, good.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to have some fun tonight. So, go ahead.
You got your dogs back?
No, I'm speaking of the three-headed dogs that I get to deal with, everybody's little Cerebuses that they can't keep on a short leash, so they'll have to beat to death. You know, and I will. Just, you know me, it's my nature. Right? I guarantee you, my Cerebus three-headed dog is way bigger and way better trained than yours. It will fetch and go for fresh meat, you know. Anyway, yeah, no, it's just amazing to watch things unfold, especially this week. The way, you know, when you start really seeing what's going on in the world, you really start to lose patience for any form of physical drama. You know, be it whatever news story or whatever. It's like when everyone starts talking about it in the literal, I just go, oh, you're missing the story. What is it saying, you know? I think we can agree that maybe the Bible and maybe, you know, the Quran and a few other interesting, you know, notable books speak an allegory, yeah? That's all they do.
Yep.
So would it not make sense that if the Bible were, you know, indoctrinated with in the literal sense, you know, from the Flavians on back, you know, blah, 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 wouldn't it make sense that if they're trying to get this world to be the literal, then everyone will take everything that's in front of them literal, therefore tying them to the literal book. See, here's the thing. When you finally understand that everything that is written in these books is allegorical, once you start deciphering it properly, guess what happens to the world outside? Well, gosh darn it. It becomes allegorical too. As above, so below. As within, so without. Did anybody get that in the Kabbalion, or was I the only one that fucking noticed that? Do you know what I'm saying? So when here we are trying to take this allegorical book, right? We find out all this beautiful truth in it, and then we try to explain it literally. And it just completely defeats the purpose, you know? And I'm talking from the literal world viewpoint. It's like, you know, and I know Harvard Tony, I was just posting stuff, and he had made another post, something about wakey, wakey, the big lie. It's like, you still staring at this stuff, bud? You still staring at the rubberneck in the car wreck? Or can you not see the allegory behind it? Actually, the allegory is in front of it. It's the literal that's behind the veil. So, does that make sense to you?
Does to me.
You know, yeah, you know, it's like people coming to me with legal things. What part of your committed fraud aren't people getting? Because it's really simple. Once you understand that you are committing fraud, and you weren't doing it with intent, right? It's ignorance of that law that you're busting, like from the day you got here. It's the ignorance of it that's keeping you trapped. So once you become knowledgeable of what the trap was, and actually that you were in one, that's the big one, right? Did you even know you were in a trap? And once you go, oh, that bear trap's biting into my ankle real hard. Oh, and then you figure out where the mechanisms are, and then you just open the trap and take your foot out. But everyone wants to go, oh, that's a trap. God, that hurts. Shake, 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 shake. God, that hurts. Shake. No. Try to chew their own legs off. There's an allegory for you. It just blows my mind. Do you want the answer? I mean, I've got the answer for people if they want it. If they can see, here's the thing. Once you get yourself back into a condition of knowledge, you know, you're not ignorant of the trap. You've opened the trap up. Now what you do is you take the trap and you shove it on the face of the system. It goes, and there it is. Turn the tables. I'll tell you what the proof of the intent to commit fraud without disclosure to my mom and dad, was very simple. They put a building up to prove it. It's called a registry office. If there wasn't an intent to commit fraud via deception and non-disclosure in the first place, the building wouldn't exist, you see. So the mere fact that these buildings, government, whoever that is, these buildings, the simple fact that they exist is proof enough for me, I see the allegory, that there was an intent to deceive. You know, the first brick that got laid to put these buildings up and have people, ignorant, dumb, paper-pushing people, working in them, that are only kept smart enough to push the little buttons that go ka-ching, 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 so that they get their little ka-ching at the end of the week, which is just a pittance. Keeps them happy, keeps them all fed, keeps them all ego-driven, yeah? So that's proof enough for me. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is quite simply this. I have no name, and I do not give a name. There was an interesting, here, let me grab it, because you weren't actually, I don't think you caught last night's show at all. But there was, or the night before, there was a very interesting, what's the best word to describe it? Well, there's an interesting definition in Black's Law that I would really love to read to you. It's in Black's Law Ninth. I mean, and you know me, Santo, just like you, we go at this from the very spiritual perspective, right? So, that's what I do, and I'm going to share something. And I know, because I had it highlighted in the book, because I'd passed it, once before and looked at it, and it had triggered then, but not to the same degree that it's triggering right now, because, gosh darn, I have a different understanding of what's going on now, right? So let me share this with you. Sorry, I just had to go and grab the book itself. And you know me, I like Black's Law Ninth. Oh, and for anyone that doesn't have a copy of it, don't worry. There's one there for you if you want it. You can go to cateofgaia.wordpress.com, and it's a 100 meg file. Free to download. Grab it. It's there. Ninjas so very kindly put it up. And it's there for everyone as well as everything else. And guess what? It's free. Huh. I don't believe in copyrights. Copyrights are for fictions. Information and truth for me is real. Okay, so let's go and have a look. What's your understanding, Santo, of the word gift?
Gift is something that is given free without desire for reciprocation, I guess.
Right, without consideration, yeah.
Without consideration.
Yeah, so it's like when I give you a gift, I don't expect you, not like they've tried us at Christmas. Well, I got somebody's going to get me a gift, so I have to get them one. See, that's not a gift. That's called an obligation. You are obligated to buy something because you feel guilty otherwise. But here's the spiritual, and this is why it's so imperative and why they call it a given name. If something has been given, it must have been a gift. Stands to reason to me. So here's what a gift is, and I'm going to give you an anagram of it. So here it is: gift, noun, 12th century, the voluntary transfer of property to another without compensation. A thing so transferred, gift. Now there's another one. I'll go and look this up, but it's inter vivos gift. But what, here, actually I'll do that right now so we can keep this. Inter vivos gift from 1848. A gift of personal property made during the donor's lifetime and delivered to the donee with the intention of irrevocably surrendering control over the property, also termed gift inter vivos, lifetime gift, or an absolute gift. Okay? But here's the interesting one. Here's the anagram. GIFT abbreviation, the abbreviated form. So G.I.F.T. stands for gamete intrafallopian transfer. Does that sound like to you? Sounds like a kid, doesn't it? Right? Well, what's a gamete? You got gamete, zygote, and then you have embryo, and et cetera, right? So this is like right from source here. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. That's very interesting. So I see where they've went that route. Now, they call it a given name, and then we'll get into what you want to talk. I just thought this would be an interesting thing to start off. I had a good chat with Johnny, just actually about an hour ago, and still people are still trying these tricks and gimmicks, UCC and UP and the rest of the illusion. And guys, stop! You're driving me nuts. People think they can play the system. The system isn't meant to be played. You're either party to it, i.e. one of the bad guys that's, quote unquote, right, of which your ego is completely sold. You've sold your soul literally to the devil. That's an allegory. And you are trapped you're being harvested in the spiritual sacred geometry here, right? Phi, psycho, physical. Or you decide that you don't want to be part of that. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. Sorry. You cannot be completely physical and or completely spiritual. You got to find the middle road here. Right? Because the physical is the effect of the spiritual. And here we are to be cause over this effect that we're at effect to. It's stupid. So, when I hear people talking about, well, I've got this thing, treasury and credits and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Cry me a river. Look at you. Gimme. Still caught in the game. Still don't know what money is. Still don't know that you're cannibalizing your fellow human beings. Still don't care, obviously. Give me an arm, quick. I'm really hungry. Fucking zombies. Walking Dead. You not seen the clues in Hollywood? TV shows, Dead man walking. Lots of hints out there that try to tell you that you're dead. You need to wake up. And the longer you play in this game, the longer you stay dead, right? The birth certificate is a death certificate. But here's the clincher. Go to caveofgaia.wordpress.com. 2 documents you need to read, and you need to read them until you get what the documents are saying. One is an easy-to-read, layman's terms description of I who shall not be named, which is a more, quote, legalese type document that they understand, right? So those 2 documents, the long and short of it, and I who shall not be named. Didn't get it the first time? Then you need to read long and short of it, I who shall not be named. If you still didn't get it, here's another suggestion. Read this. The long and short of it, and I who shall not be named. And keep doing that, until it sinks in and you go, oh my God, I see it. Because only until you see it, you are in fraud. Once you see it, the name is yours. Because the fraud was placed on mom and dad. The aid and abetting of the fraud, the onus was placed on them to get their children, i.e. you, me, all the rest of us, to commit fraud. They're the ones that aid and abetted by giving us a document we should never have ever gotten, because they gave the name away. That's why they call it a given name. That's why it's held under seal. A seal or a say all, himself, herself, itself, all, is the highest order of promises, one of sacred proportions. That's why they hold it under seal. But here's the trick. You see, the agreement that went into, even in mom and dad's ignorance, there was still an intent to deceive. And a fraud revealed is null and void, nunc pro tunc. So now it's up to, the system to say, you say to them, is it the system's intent now to aid and abet me into committing a fraud that I know of using somebody else's property that clearly isn't mine? It says copyright. And there was an intent by the system in the first place to aid and abet me into doing this via my parents as third-party interlopers. How is that a contract? How is it binding on me? It's got nothing to do with me. At which point you raise your digitus imputicus, you spit in their eye, and you dress them funny and walk out. No, they already do that. Never mind. So there you go. Any other questions, class? I didn't think so. Start doing it. You'll see what happens. Watch. Plant the seeds, for crying out loud. I'm just tired of this. Shit all the time. Anyway, so what's up in the stars, Santo?
Well, I haven't really checked recently. Good thing is Jupiter's in Cancer now, so that's the sign of his exaltation, and that will bring many abundant things to people who have strong Jupiter in their charts in particular. But Jupiter in Cancer is a very nice thing. Comes around every 12 years, So, I've had 4 of these Jupiter Cancer transits in my life, I guess, 5. I'm 50. 4.
4 anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but, enjoy it. It's a beautiful motherly sign, and Jupiter is the quintessential fatherly figure, really. So, blending his beautiful, airy energy, Jupiter's light is considered in astrology the greatest of all the lights. There's nothing comparable. Simply, there is nothing comparable, Even the adoration for Sirius and Venus and the Moon and the Sun just doesn't compare. He gets all the glory. In fact, Firmicus Maternus, if there was only just Jupiter, we would be immortal. But because the system has decreed, or the gods have decreed, that bodies should have a certain amount of life, the other planets and their energy comes into play and destroys the work of Jupiter, because his light is that good. And so in Cancer, the motherly sign, the sign of the home and the ancestry, it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a great, fat, abundant year with Jupiter. Many, yep. And, of course, Cancer is the home of the moon and the emotions, really. Cardinal water, the water of the bodies. So there's Jupiter stimulating the psychic, the emotional part, and with his best, very, very best of energy, really. Jupiter also rules Pisces and Sagittarius, but in Cancer, that's his exaltation, and so it's very significant. Pay attention to what that means and how it affects the individual, yourself, and you'll see its influence in your life.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been playing with my new Mayan cards that Miranda sent, and oh my, they're quite something, and it just backs up everything you just said there. Yeah, there's monstrous things afoot right now. Yeah. I was going to say I gave I've never used this analogy before, but I'm going to use it tonight. When I was talking to Johnny, when we talk about inspired by the word exaltation, no less, right? A lot of people have a hard time letting go of the system and trying to find this way and that way and the other. And got to tell you guys, I've been in it for well over 2 years, and no, it's not easy. It's not. But don't expect anything worth having to be easy to get. That's the gimme. Join the Free Man on the Land movement. They'll help you with that one. Or the Sovereign Citizens. Yeah, they'll help you too. Or any of these UCC people. They'll sign up, give away your soul. Yeah, go ahead. But here's the analogy. So many of us want to soar, but we're so unable to let go. And this is why I'm hoping that you can do a couple of charts tonight. I really want to hear Ninja's chart. I'm so chomping at the bit to hear her chart. But to get back to what I was saying, you see, without your design, you don't really have any idea or any clue of who or what you are, what your purpose is. You might have an inkling inside. I can't say I'm not your experience. You are. Only you know what your perspective heart says. If you want some helpful hints, though, know thyself. That's what the As Above science is all about. It's about giving you the clues back as to what particular angle or angel you are, and to start, manifesting the things that you were supposed to when you got here. Because I can only the resonance inside of me, the intuitive is before I came back into this game, it's oh yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to wow. And you don't remember anything. The good news is, if you're smart, which we all are, we always leave all the clues and place them into the game board, right? We come into the game fully prepared. Unfortunately, we come in after sipping the cup of forgetfulness allegory. Can't have a game if you know the outcome, right? But you do know you're going to win. And that could be all manner of things. Depends on what your experience is supposed to be. But it's like this. The ego is the only thing holding you. It's the one that ties up and binds up all the emotions. And one of the things that I found very effective with the charts in particular, be it Western, Zodiac, Chinese, Mayan, whatever the case may be, they all matter. They all actually have beautiful pieces of the puzzle. Or Human Design America matter. And the ego is completely controlled with emotion. If you can take the ego and understand that it only lives while the body is alive, of course it's going to be body intensive. It's going to want to indulge in all the seven deadlies, right? The lust, greed, the pride, and all the rest of the crap that goes along with living in a quote sinful unquote existence of the world, worldly. That's what the ego is. And the ego, once it gets very comfortable and good survival, the 1.8 VCRs, the 3.6 Jaguars, the 18,000 square foot home that only two people live in, it's totally ridiculous, and mountains of money, makes the ego very happy, but it destroys the soul. That's the trade-off. That's fine. You want to have all the physical things, well, you're giving up your spirituality in the process. There's a way to balance this. That's what we're working towards, where it's neutral abundance and you're not possessed by your possessions, basically. So all of these things, and that's family too, that's friends, that's culture, that's whatever groups you're affiliated with, and all the little cliques and everything else you want to be a part of. These are all attachments. So let's make attachments into a thread or a very thin rope that's holding you. Now imagine for a moment, if you will, that you're an eagle and you suddenly wake up one day and you go, I want to fly, and then you go thump, and you're going to go so far because you got all these threads or little ropes tied to your talons. Now you can still fly a little bit, you can get a better view from where you are, but Pinocchio, you got to cut your strings, and some of them might take a chainsaw to get through. But if you want to be free, that's what you got to do. So don't think for 1 minute you can fly like an eagle while you have attachments holding you. These are the emotional bonds, right? That's why when they say, you have a bond with someone, that's very literal in an allegorical sense. That's why they created birth bonds. They stick that puppy right to your ass until you learn how to peel it off. That's one of the biggest let-goes of all. That's when we stop worshiping the system. That's when we stop playing in the system and understanding what it really is. When you start figuring it out that you're the ones actually feeding the beast and making sure the vampires have all the blood they need, and of course spiritual energetics, when you finally decide you've had enough, then you'll cut those ropes and you'll let go and you will get into the stream of universal life. So don't expect to be flying too far while you've got all these ropes tying your ass to the allegorical ground, because you ain't going to do it. So this is one of the joys when Santo comes on for Syncretism. You get a better understanding of how these designs work and how they can integrate into your life. And a quick announcement too. Starting Sunday night, I'll be doing on-air tarot readings for people. I'm going to kind of get loose on that a bit. Magnolia, I was talking to last night, was first one, and it's looking like it's going to be Carol Harris from France, the other Carol, that will be second in line there. Like you, Santo, I don't... doing reads takes a little more than 5 minutes, so I'm not sure how many I can squeeze in. I'll do my best, and first come, first served, and no harm, no foul. If I get to you, great. If I don't, but I'll tell you this: I, like Santo, do not have time, whether it was paid for or not, to do tarot readings during the day. All right, because it takes generally an hour to do a decent one. It can take hours to do a great one, but I can get the point across fairly quickly. But just wanted to get that out. So There's the allegory, Santo. So take her from there.
Yeah. So I suppose, that needs to be said because it's really helping people to see that participating in fictions, or Babylon the Great, as it is put in theology, is harmful to the health.
Deadly.
Yeah. So yeah, I see around me too enough, of that going on still. But look, it's advancing. We are making a lot of headway, and so what we've come to do is certainly doable. It's feasible, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it properly.
Agreed.
Yep, it's going to be done. Everything will go ahead as per scripted, and the script was written by the best of the best. It's not a poor production.
No, most certainly not. It's a perfect script. It's only us that are messing it up.
Yep. And because people are, we're suffering with a lot of, atrophy and sort of inertia and, sleep condition, hypnotism. But there's still a lot of it. It takes a long time to get rid of those toxins, and that teaching and that conditioning. It's a lifetime thing, really. You've got to cover, peel layers and layers off. But the good thing is that your audience is receptive to, the higher sciences and able to use them to, for leverage, to catapult them in the ascension process. That's what it's for. These are all, the ancients left us the best of the best stuff, and they etched it into the rocks. For instance, one example is the zodiac of Dendera, 5,000 years old, they say. But you could put another zero on the end of that at least. But they did that so that idiots that came along after wouldn't be able to scratch them out. So the cross has endured. The cardinal cross, it has endured. When Marco Polo went to Japan, he saw everywhere the cross. When Columbus and the conquistadores invaded the Americas, the cross was everywhere. Everywhere was the cross. The Chinese have the cross, the Indians have the swastika, everywhere on the planet, in one form or another, and it remains, because that cross describes everything in theology and everything in the universe. In theology, they talk of the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge. Those are the two trees, the two axes of the cross. They also depict the process of creation, how creation is done through vibration. Through vibration, and vibration shares a root with the word verb. And verb is the Latin word for the Greek word logos, which is at the end of all of our sciences, astrology.
One more for verb. Ready?
Yeah.
It's ver-b, capital B, which is 13. Ver meaning truth, so the higher truth. It's action, right? The act ion.
Beautiful, exactly. And so verb, you see it in the word reverberate. So it's a vibration. It's the word of God, vibration. So this crisscrossing, the cross, describes this vibration. And it also describes the four cardinal points along the ecliptic of the sun's path, and describes them in two dimensions. March the 21st is the equinox, June the 21st is the solstice, September the 21st is an equinox, and December the 21st is the other solstice. And those are the four cardinal points. And so it describes how electricity, the electric sun, gets things done along the ecliptic, and it has 4 points, and it described those 4 strong points of the cardinal posts. Yes, that's right, posts, stakes, pivots, they are called either one of those in astrology. This is why Jesus has 12 posts, 12 apostles, because the 12 signs were called posts. And so they left it to us and see what we would make of it. And so we could never scratch it out, as the elites have tried to do. They've tried to destroy all those temple reliefs, and you see they're still doing this in fundamentalist countries, where they're destroying, some of this stuff that was etched into stones for our times, you see, and taking them away and stealing them. For instance, the Dendera stone is no longer in Dendera on the banks of the Nile. It's now in the French Museum in the Louvre, in a dark little room. You see, because they want you to think that this is just a stone that means nothing. It has no technology on it that can help you, and the barbaric Egyptians just had this stone, and here we French, we enlightened ones, have captured it for your amusement. There you go. Look at this and see how far we have advanced now. We have allopathic medicine now to treat your diseases, whereas Hippocrates said that a practitioner of truth, a doctor or a medic, cannot call himself one if he is ignorant of astrology. And of course, doctors are proud of their Hippocratic oath, and they display this in their clinics, you see. But they are trampling on the very philosophy of Hippocrates, because he said astrology first, and then you can call yourself a medic. Don't put the cart before the horse.
Well, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why they're quite happy to just open up, cut your body open and let you bleed to death, because the moon is transiting the part of your body which above is the signs of the zodiac. For instance, if they are operating on your heart and the moon is in Leo, and in particular receiving a square from, say, Mars or Saturn, rest assured you're not going to make it home. Your corpse will remain there under the hands of the surgeon, the idiot who forgets his Hippocratic philosophy because he's too interested in his indoctrination. You see. And so doctors are killing people left, right and centre. This is how they are capable of prescribing medications to children, like, Prozac, and give them Panadol for their pain, and give them all of this allopathic crap. And so this is how far we have advanced as a race, you see, ignoring the spiritual wisdom that came down to us through the beautiful Word of God, which is astrology. And you need to be a little bit inclined to etymology to understand that astrology is nothing but the Word of God. Astro equals stars, stars equal light, light equals God. Logos, or logi, is the Word of God. The Word. And so, this is why Hosea screams out that my people will perish because of their ignorance.
Yeah, I just want to back you up on that word thing as well, in as much as the words are the trap, they are also equally the freedom. See, like a Chinese finger trap, very easy to get out of once you relax and understand how it works and just remove your fingers slowly. Instead, most people are desperate, and they'll be pulling and pulling and pulling, and the harder they pull, just like the fangs of a snake, they'll embed deeper and deeper and deeper, right? Something I touched on last night, and I want to share this with you because we've talked about this in the past, but it's here it is in a whole different light. Remember we were talking about admiralty law is based on mercantile law is based on what? What ancient culture? Phoenicians, right? 900 years before Rome. They were the traders. Hear the sound of that? Traders? Yeah, that's what I thought I heard. Yeah, trader. Benedict Arnold style. But they were the traders of the high seas. And what are words, the sounds of words called? Well, phonics, right? Phonetic. You got and of course the phonetic alphabet. So here it is. Here's how the judges or the magi straits play the magic game. So I'm going to show you the trap, and I'm going to show you the untrap. And I really wanted to get working on this today. Just it's been a day here. Just garbage energy around here. But anyway, that's why I got to get out of here. I just got to go. I need to be able to think clearly. So here it is. Whenever you say something, it can be assumed by sound alone, phonics, that you're being phony. Because you can walk into, give you an example, like any fool can do this, and I mean this literally. You can walk into a courtroom and say, I want my due process in law. Okay? Now, there's a lot of assumption and presumption there. You thought you said, I want my due process in law, which from your intention means that you want fair treatment, to do this right. Well, I'm going to tell you what the judge heard, and you'll get your due process for sure, and he will stay in complete honor, giving you your due process in law. Because what he can assume he heard, because it wasn't spelled out for him, that's why they hate paper. That's why I tell you, just documents, there's your intent. The words shaped the way they are and decoded the way they have been mean what you are saying in full intent. There can be no assumption in how you spell right, or right. It's spelled out for them, so it's got to work, show and tell. Kindergarten, everything we need to learn, we learn in kindergarten. But I'll tell you what the judge heard. You say, I want my due process in law. And the judge heard, because he understands deeper meanings, etymology of the words. So you want your D.O., you want me to do, for tax process in law? Okay, I can do that for you. This is how it works. We rape you. And they do it in complete honor. Because you don't know, clue who you are, and you're just a babbling fool. You are rambling on. You are a babble-on, or a babble-onion. All right? So this is why they will always nail you. And it's not about process. It's not about tricks and words and of strategies on paper and, because this happened, we can do this, and this was a basis in law of that and all the rest. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with the word and how it sounds. So, Hooked by Phonics, there's another essay you should read. Hooked by Phonics. It's on cadeofgaia.wordpress.com. Because I give a couple of examples in writing of what you thought you might have said, and I completely spelled it based on phonics completely differently. So I can assume and presume anything I want. And you said it, but it wasn't spelled out for me. So I can assume my own spelling, and I will cast my spell upon you. And then I will sentence. Get the words? I will sentence you verbally. And because you don't understand what I'm saying, you're going to assume and presume that you have to go to jail. Nifty trick, huh? Silence is golden. Just wanted to throw that hooked in by phonics in there, Santo. That's the true trick. It's not what you're saying. It's the sound under Phoenician or phonic law that is assumed and presumed by the receiving party. unless it's absolutely spelled out for them. So there you go. That's why reading documents in court, they hate that, because it is on and for the record. They don't like that, and they'll end it real quick, get you the hell out of there. And they won't let you in, they'll just shut it down. But that's what you want, shut it down. If it's shut down, then they can't cash out anything. It works for me. What do you think, Sano?
Yeah, I'm all for that. Shutting down this beast. It is up to us now to shut down this beast. It must be shut down. Otherwise, what we'll continue to see and allow for prosperity, which we should be ashamed for having let our future generations or the potential of the future going the wrong way. We need to just shut it down. Otherwise we will continue to see a world where priests are allowed to just rape little boys and say, oh, we belong to a church, can't touch us, that's pretty nice, and we're called Christians. And we can't have foreign agents who have titles of nobility, i.e. attorneys, barristers, solicitors, turning over the free into their prison system so that it can generate a lot of income for the Pope, so he can rape more little boys. And that's just all we're going to get, because that's what we're getting. And we're getting it rammed up our behinds, in a figurative sense.
And we're doing it to ourselves.
Yep. We have to shut that beast right down. And, do not participate in any of that shit. I drive around with an unregistered car. I do not have a driver's license. I don't go into their courtrooms. I don't read their mail. Anything that comes to me that's by any alphabet soup gang, it goes straight to the bin. I'd love to have a recycling thing, so at least I could, use it in the bathroom. That paper. But I don't have any technology to do that. But if there's any way I can, use it for hygienic purposes, anyone know how to do that and turn all government bits of paper into useful pieces of paper.
Paper mache.
Yeah, there you go. Do it.
Make a nice sculpture of a bull.
Yeah.
And then send it back to them.
Do it. Yeah. If you don't know who you are, then you are allowing some costumed clown suit from an alphabet soup gang to come along and just say, hey, you, and then just by saying, hey, you, offering you a contract to go into his artificial jurisdiction, and you respond with anything other than, are you speaking to me, and pointing to yourself, then, you're an idiot. Because unless you pull that costumed fool back into your jurisdiction, which is your God kingdom, then you're going to be going into some kind of jurisdiction where they can have, their way with you and take you into their little cages. No worries about that, because that's what they're on about, when they try to approach you and engage you in a contract. And subtle are their ways to make you understand. Oh, yeah.
And that's the whole thing. The only thing I suggest to people, Santo, to carry, and I actually insist that they carry a copy of it, is if they can have both copies, long and short form. The long form is the fraud, and the short form is proof of the fraud, which carries it even deeper into the deception realms. But they cannot use it. It's the only piece of paper the government ever gives out freely and willfully without anyone asking. Oh, here you go. Here's your birth certificate. And of course, we get aided and abetted by our parents to use a name that they gave away. It's not ours anymore until we know how to reclaim it. So the only thing I will carry is a copy of, it's a photocopy of a copy, because you only ever get a copy of it, of the birth registration. And so that's the only piece of paper it was ever received. I don't have any other contracts, and I can't use this because it says I can't. It's that simple. Because without you consenting to the name in any contract, be it a license, we covered the word license last night. It comes from licentious. You know what licentious is, right? It's not a good thing. It's basically a depraved sexual monster, one of criminal intent, no moral standing whatsoever. So if you carry a license, that's what you're saying you are. And here was the one thing. You're going to find this absolutely fascinating. I know you will. The word, I looked up license, and wait to hear this. This is so funny. And I tell people, be very careful when you're reading things. Don't just assume anything. There's much more to it than meets the eye. So, where was it? Elicitation, license. Oh, here we go. And they've got lots of licenses, implied licenses and everything else. Compulsory. Okay, here we go. I'll give you the root word called licety. That's where licentious comes from, or license, or licence, which is licety, which is the legality of an act, especially of a sacrament. Even that word alone just says so much to me. But licety is distinguished from validity in ecclesiastical law. Although an act or some part of it may be illegal, now pay attention to that. Although an act in its entirety or some part of it may be illegal, which means it's all illegal, its performance or effects may be valid. See, there's your catch-22. Now, for example, Roman Catholic law requires that the Eucharist be celebrated with unleavened wheat bread. Now, if leavened wheat bread is used, the bread would be an illegal substance, but the sacrament's validity would not be affected. So what the driver's license, for example, is somebody driving along in their system, and as long as you stay within their rules that they put down for you, those are the things that are valid. Everything else is criminal that you're doing, but as soon, or beyond their rules. Okay, if they set a rule, if you pass that rule, now you're already a criminal with a license, but now the validity steps into play. You've went from unleavened wheat bread to leavened wheat bread. See the allegory? All right. So, if you carry anything, a marriage license, a driver's license, fishing license, gun license, I don't care, whatever kind of license it is, that's what you're doing. You're stating very clearly that you are a criminal. And again, anything that you go out for in terms of a contract, using the birth certificate, you've actually committed fraud of the highest order, because you're using copyrighted material from someone that never gave you permission to. And that's the difference between us, the peons, and the bar society, because when someone crosses the bar, what they're given is the right to use the copyrights of their own name and of all the legal stuff and everything else. That's why it's only they that can talk in honor without committing fraud in a courtroom. That's why they made me be absolutely silent the last time I was in the courtroom, because they didn't want me harming myself. And they were at such a touchy point that anything that they were doing, these guys were walking on rice paper the whole time. It was ridiculous to watch it, and it was just a show, but you could feel the fear just oozing out of each and every one of these fucking thieves. And that's all they are. They're just thieves, because they know what they're doing. But they've been bought and paid for. They've sold their souls to the devil. Nothing I can do about it. Nothing I want to do about it. It's going to be up to them to make their path, to choose their way. If they can't if they can't pass the first test of can you be bought, then they're done. You're done. So anyway, I just thought you might find that a little bit interesting.
Yeah, they're a den of thieves and a coven of witches. They've proven that beyond, beyond the level that now there's enough evidence that a good court can condemn the Bar and the Crown and all of these soup agencies to they could condemn them to closure forever, forevermore, and they will be.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be foreclosed. It's only a matter of time, and how good we are. It's.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, you understand how the cops get away with beating someone up in the street now, don't you? Because here's the thing: if someone doesn't know who they are, and this sounds cruel, but this is universe, baby, trying to wake you up. What you've got is someone that doesn't know who they are, is carrying identification. And you've got to really know who the hell you are. And it's very simple. I've just given you everything you needed to hear tonight. Everything. It is that simple. But you've got to know it. You don't you don't doubt it. You don't second guess it. You got to know this. It's fact. And the reason why they can get away with it is because we're dealing with a system of dishonor, beating up dishonor. That's it. There's no harm, no foul on each side of it in a universal sense. That's why it's critical for people to wake up. But there's nothing I can say or nothing I can do or will say or do to trespass on anyone's willingness to stay asleep. I will spend time on the air, and especially time with Santo, sharing what I know, and Santo will share what he knows, to get information out to you that'll resonate, if you want it to. But the problem with truth, and here's the disclaimer, and that's why I'm telling people, if you can't handle the truth, do not tune into this show ever again. Because I don't want you bringing harm upon yourself by denying it. Because the minute you know a truth and you don't stand in it, the universe is going to give you a universal bitch slap upside the head. Until you do stand in it. You step off the mark, universe goes. And here's the other part of it too. When you stand in truth, I know you've been through the Mel Santo, so many of us have. When you stand in the truth, the universe does everything in its power to tear all of those attachments, dear eagle, away from you so that you can fly. It's painful. It's quite an operation, Pinocchio. You feel every one of those strings getting cut. But once they're cut, they heal instantly. Some might take a week or two. Some might take a little longer. Depends on how much wallowing you want to do in it. I know I've done my share. All right? But I assure you, you will feel every one of those strings getting cut. The universe makes sure of it because that's the lesson you learned. And that's why, like, Sonia, when you come on Friday nights and you bring astrotheology to people, it's a beautiful tool where they can learn to know themselves. I think that's fair. I got to tell you, Santo, I wish I had this show 4 years ago listening to someone else doing it.
Yeah.
You know? Wouldn't that be great? Could you imagine? Yeah. I can.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's all about standing in it. But, yeah, so are you into doing a couple of readings tonight?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because I tell you, more than anything else, I'm curious to see what kind of trend we run tonight. So I've got Ninja and I have Reisu ready to rock. Sorry, I muted myself out. This is the other thing too. It's why I don't get. I have absolutely no interest in talking about strategies in the system. There are none. Until people know who they are, until they know the fraud and know how to turn the table on it. You want to turn the table? Go to I Who Shall Not Be Named. Take all the names that I've put in there out. Put your own in. Throw a little red box around it if you want. Fire that in on a parking ticket or foreclosure. I don't give a shit. But put that in on the file. And then don't bother showing up. That simple. All right, Ninja. Open up your line there, hon. There you are.
Hi, Kate. Hi, Santos.
Hello.
Anytime now. Are you ready to take some time and date and everything else, Santo?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ninja. January 14th, right?
Yeah.
1964.
Yeah.
Trying to remember the time.
10:30 a.m.
10:30 a.m.
As close as I can figure, that's what it is anyway.
And London?
Yeah, in London, England.
Right, so 14th of January, 64, 10:30 a.m., London.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so Capricorn, of course, but well-placed Capricorn in the mid-heaven with the moon. Double Capricorn, sun and moon in Capricorn. Beautiful. Yeah, that's just, that's wonderful. That's lovely. You've got an ascendant in Aries with Jupiter in the first house. So Jupiter in the first house by day, there's not enough words to say how, for want of a better word, how lucky you are, to have Jupiter in the first house. That's the best placement in Aries. He loves fire, very comfortable in fire, and in the ascendant sign, so it's extra strong, and Sagittarius, so Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Your Sag is in the 9th house. So there's a strong connect there with your spirituality. So Jupiter, you could even put him in the 9th house, even though he's in the first, because that's his true rejoicing home. And there it is, in the house of religion, spirituality, metaphysics, dreams, visions, all of that stuff that makes you a spiritual. That's your spiritual component. The ascendant is the physical, right? So there's a close connection, a strong connection anyway between the 9th house and the first house. They trine one another. Same element is usually there. You see, your ascendant is in Aries fire, and your 9th house is in Sagittarius fire. The other fire sign will be Leo, and that will be in the 5th house. Usually. This is how it works. So this triplicity of fire is usually dealing with you. It's the individual, their physical nature in the ascendant, their emotional nature in the 5th house, and their spiritual nature in the 9th. So basically, yours is just dominated by Jupiterian energy. That's what I'm getting at here. Let me just read. I've got to read this, I'm tempted to move on, but I've just got to read how nice it is to have Jupiter in the first house. So you can rejoice, sister. If Jupiter is found exactly on the first angle, that is on the ascendant, especially in the signs in which he rejoices, Aries, for sure, or in his own house or terms or in his exaltation, he will make the native high-born, famous, always ruling great states, perhaps the first 10 of the great states. He will also make him, according to the computation of the chart, virtuous, charming, benevolent, cheerful, rich, especially if Jupiter is in this house by day. And no malefic planet is in aspect. Well, you do have two planets in aspect, and they are two squares, one by the moon and one by Jupiter in the 10th house. So this is the house of career, honours, degrees. You've 4 planets in there. So far, with Jupiter in the first angle, and these 4 planets, Mars, Sun, Moon and Mercury, in the 10th hang on. No, I make a mistake. I've got... let me just step back a little bit. You have the Moon and Mercury in the 10th house. The Sun and Mars are in the 11th house. I made a mistake there. I wasn't paying attention. Your 10th house is very, very small. Due to what's called refraction of the horizons, when you're operating a Placidus system, some of the houses are bigger than 30 degrees. But your 10th house is much smaller than 30 degrees. So I didn't pay attention to that. So the Moon was right on the cusp, and it was hiding the fact that the cusp was there. But anyway, the point is, the Moon and Mercury are squaring with Jupiter. Now, that's not good. It's not bad because you're lucky that the Moon and Mercury are in the 10th house, and because you want planets in the angles. So that's good, but just showing that greatness that comes from having Jupiter in the first house. Now, Jupiter is very hard to diminish his beautiful light. You would need both Saturn and Mars to do that, to really severely diminish him. The Moon and Mercury cannot do it together. So you still have a strong, even if I just stop the reading there, whatever else of nasties I find in the chart, just having Jupiter in the first house by day is so just unstoppably beautiful and successful. Marlon Brando has Jupiter in the first house with his ascendant in Sagittarius. Very important, because that's even better, because Jupiter rejoices in Sagittarius on the ascendant. The man had nothing but success written on his path. Another one is Robert Plant, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. Jupiter in the first house with Sagittarius ascendant. Just born to be a superstar, and he did. He achieved what many singers would just dream about, and how many followers of the band Led Zeppelin. There's never been, you get Elvis followers, you get Beatles followers, but there's never been a band that has bequeathed so many in terms of, so many copycats, in terms of pure, genuine copycats, as the band Led Zeppelin, period. So, why? Because these people, that have Jupiter in the first house, I'm labouring this point because it's just so gorgeous to see him there. And look, Mars, the Sun in the 11th house, this is great. Mars in the 11th house is beautiful because this is bringing friends into your life. A lot of friends, action to do with friends. A lot of action. Mars in the 11th house indicates many good things: increase in income and popularity with people. Mars in the 11th house. Why? Because it's the action hero. So in terms of friends, that's the best placement you could have. Elvis Presley has Jupiter in the 11th house. No wonder he was given gifts and presents and buying cars and houses for his friends. That tells you, whatever's in the 11th house tells you how you treat your friends, So this is a very active, friendly person. Ninja has lots of friends, or at least is able to have a lot of friends, And the Sun there, also in the 11th house, oh my goodness. It's too much good stuff here. When the Sun is in the 11th house, the natives and their fathers are fortunate and hold high position. Their prosperity increases over time. The good fortune is even greater if Jupiter is with the Sun or in trine aspect to the Sun. No, there's none of that, but Jupiter is in the sign of the Sun's exaltation, which is Aries. So he is giving goodness to the Sun. That's how it works in astrology. Look, a couple of negative things I must say. You also, Ninja, you have Venus conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. And I have that too. And that's not good for the love life. It's sort of like, it's a bit tough on your Saturn. Jumping on top of Venus like that is like, it's really sort of, he's cruel. He's cold, and he harms Venus, and Venus absolutely detests Aquarius. You'll probably have knee problems later on in life. I'll check the health in a minute, because you do have 2 planets in the 6th house, so I will do the health stuff. But having Saturn conjunct Venus in Aquarius in the 12th house, that's not at all going to be a good thing. That will be there'll be knee problems for sure. If you don't look after this and take perhaps the cell salt for Aquarius, which would be sodium chloride, table salt. I'd get into Himalayan salt. That's what I'd be taking. That will help that. And you can rest assured that it probably will be a chronic thing too. After I've checked your general health thing here. Because Saturn is receiving a square in Aquarius. He loves Aquarius, receives 5 points of dignity there. So you do have a dignified planet there. Essential dignities, you've got a bit. But it's accidental dignities which is the strength of your chart. The accidental placement of these planets is just absolutely exquisite, except for, Venus and Saturn here. And when you look at Libra, which is in the 7th house, which is your house of relationships, marriage and partners, and your Venus is the ruler of Libra, and Saturn is the exalting planet of Libra, and they are in a poor house, the 12th house, which is the worst house in terms of energy in the chart. It's the weakest, and hiding more stuff than you can possibly. Hidden enemy is there, sorrow is there. So what is Venus doing in your 12th house? There's some sorrow attached to, the love life somewhere along your life. I can work out whether it's the first or middle or last part, but it's there. This is what the 12th house means, okay? The 12th house signifies hidden enemies and deceivers and the envious. And it signifies cows, horses, donkeys, camels, and all animals which are ridden, and the like. And it signifies griefs, sorrows, wailings, weeping, lamentations, whisperings, and the like, slanderings, prisons, evil wills. And Sal said that it signifies cunning, evil thoughts. And Al-Kabizi said that it signifies labours and bad characters. And it signifies the end of life. And what happens to women from the conception of a child and from giving birth, whether good or bad. And Al-Andarzaga said the first lord of the triplicity of the 12th house signifies enemies. So, and the second labours, and the third beasts and cattle. So this is from the book of Bonacci, the 13th century astrology that I'm reading. Hidden enemies, all that sort of stuff is happening there. Deception from hidden enemies, envious people trying to hinder your path, that's all happening. Rest assured that's all happening. But the moon in Capricorn with the sun up there, and Mercury, although retrograde in the 10th house, this will be promising for sure in terms of career and everything like that. As for health, look, I do see Pluto and Uranus in Virgo in the 6th house. They are very well placed in terms of aspects. They are receiving trines, but in the 6th house, that energy is not really appreciated at all. Nothing in the 6th house is appreciated, really. No planets prosper and thrive there at all. None of them. Not a one. It's not like other houses that at least have 1 or 2 planets that love those homes, So, but what I normally look at, when you when you consider the 6th house, don't just look at the planet that's in the 6th house and if it's badly aspected, declare that the person will have health issues. Don't do that, because there's 2 other things at least that you should consider. Second thing would be the ruler of that house, which would be Leo, because the cusp is pointing to Leo, and the ruler of Leo is the Sun. The Sun is the 11th house. Can't go wrong with that placement, really, even though it's in Capricorn, which is the sign of, well, yeah, the Sun does least best in Earth signs, and that belongs to Saturn. So, but accidentally placed in the 11th house, no problem, not a problem. So the Lord of that house comfortable and doing strongly. So your health shouldn't really be a problem going by that. But then you can further deepen your studies and into health and look at the ascendant. The ascendant is in Aries, 0 degrees Aries. Fire then is the controller of your body and health and vitality and everything like that. So that's good. I like when I see the ascendant in a fire sign, because I know that they have plenty of vitality. All things being equal, that person will have plenty of vitality. These are vital signs. You see? Energy. It's high vibrating energy, the fire signs, the highest. And so that's good. But the lords of fire by day are first the Sun, then Jupiter, and then Saturn. So the first lord, the Sun, deals with the first third of your life. So you would have had a pretty strong body, no problem. The Sun's in the 11th house. But the good thing is the middle part of your life, which is where you are now, being 49, you now are under Jupiter's dominion in terms of your body and your health. And look at him in the first house, in Aries, the strongest, most dignified planet you have in your chart. And so the middle part will be fantastic. Saturn in the 12th house, I'm suggesting that your health will diminish in the third part of your life because of that. So but it shouldn't be too drastic. I have exactly the same predicament, because I have the Sun and Jupiter ruling the first. I'm under Jupiter right now, and my Jupiter also is the strongest planet in my chart, like you, Ninja. So I'm enjoying great health. And the Sun ruled the first third of my life, and that was also in the 7th house, which is a strong angle for the Sun, and Jupiter's also in the 7th house, which is strong. So good energy from my 7th house, which gave me good health for the first 2/3 of my life. But Saturn is in the 6th house in my chart, indicating that's the house of illness, receiving a square just like you, conjunct Venus just like you, in Aquarius just like you, but opposite your 12th house placement. So both of us will need to be aware of that. There's going to be a drop. You know, we will have to really look after our health. But as for anything serious, not a problem. I don't see anything. Possibly you might have head or headache problems, having, you know, those squares to Aries, but I will check that actually. Jupiter, 12 degrees Jupiter, Aries. Yeah, migraines, probably. A few migraines. I could look at a few other medical...
I had the migraine when I was about 9, but it only was like 1 or 2 days. I never had it again.
Me too. When I was 9, I had one long migraine all day long. It was hell, and I've never had it again.
Yeah.
That's it. So we're very, very lucky. Usually people who have planets in the middle domain of Aries, like yourself, receiving squares. See, this is why Jupiter is so good in Aries. And in your progress chart, you will have Jupiter there for a long time. You probably have Jupiter for the rest of your life in Aries. So you're lucky. I do. I've got, in my progress chart, if you want to see what you're going to look like in 40 years' time, just progress your chart by 40 degrees. So in other words, or do it by day, just progress. So you were born on, what was it, the 14th of January?
Yeah.
Right, so if you went to the 15th of January, that's the first year of your life. If you cast a chart for the 16th of January, that is a progress chart dealing with your second year of life. So if you add 40 days to that, your birthday, or 49 days, progress the chart, have a look at it. See what's going on. See where your Jupiter is. See if it's still in your head, in your cerebrum, in Aries. And you'll find that it is. And so there's another feature of astrology. You progress the chart. It's called a secondary progression. There's other types of progressions, tertiary progressions. There's minor progressions. Anyway, so when you do that, you can see how long these planets are staying in their respective position, right? The slower moving planets will be there for a long time. Now, the ruler of your chart, I'll do that and then let you go unless you've got any specific questions. But the ruler of your chart would be Mars by virtue of the ascendant being in Aries, Saturn by virtue of your moon being in Capricorn, next sign is Aquarius, that's the ruler. Mars again by being the closest planet to your Sun. Your Sun is in the 23rd degree of Capricorn. It is the indicator of your ruler. So let's have a look at the 23rd degree of Capricorn belongs to Mars. So there's 3 for Mars. The most dignified planet is definitely Jupiter. So you've got 3. Mars is definitely out and out ruler of your chart. You're very martial. Having your ascendant in Aries also indicates the same martial energy going on. Mars is it. You are here for action, and that action will be directed toward your spiritual life because Jupiter in the first house is pointing to Sagittarius in the 9th house. And so there you go. Your North Node is in Cancer, just like myself. Because you were born a year after I was born in 63. So you know, the North Node was still lingering around in Cancer.
Wow, thanks very much, yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You're correct with the knee problems, but I don't have it anymore, and it only started when in 2010 in one of the knees, but I've actually not had any problems with that now for probably about a year. So I managed to sort that out. But I do take the pink Himalayan salt as well, and I've been on the tissue salts, but that's more recent. I took also magnesium oil. I think it was the magnesium oil that got the knee right again, and then I started on the Himalayan salt, and so that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, and look, a little bit of barefoot walking on dirt, which is creating the electrical circuit for the sun's rays to be able to, you know, flow the electric energy to flow through your body through into the earth. You see, wearing shoes disconnects. Yeah, so do a bit of that for your knee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you if you can just go back to the 12th house issues? Did you mention about things to do with birthing can be difficult? because I wanted to confirm that I heard something around that. Because I did have big problems after the birth of my son, which was the cesarean section, and that was very, very problematic afterwards, and blood loss and infections and all sorts of things in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, look at this. This is what Bonacci says 700 years ago. What happened? The 12th house signifies what happens to women from the conception of a child and from giving birth, whether good or bad, in parentheses. So it has to do with giving birth. Now, certainly the 12th house it's a cadent house. Cadent means falling. It's fallen away from the angles, so far from the angles. The angles have all the power. The first house, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th. Firmicus says you wish that all the planets were there, and you wish that no planets were in the 12th, 6th, 8th, and 2nd house. Now, the 8th and 2nd succedent houses, they're not cadent, but they're still much more negative than the 9th and the 3rd, which are cadent, and they are put before the 9th and the 3rd in terms of badness and, ill predictions. So it's not all bad. You've got to understand, it's not like that, but it's when you go deep to look at many profound things, indicators in the chart, then planets that are placed in those cadent homes can only have weak predictions. They can only be weak. They can't be favourable. So that would have been your problems with childbirthing, and the fact that Venus is in the worst sign for Venus, Aquarius, and in conjunct Saturn, which is receiving a square, and that will also severely weaken this house, which has to do, of course, with all of those things, including the conception and giving birth. The whole thing having to do with women. So there you go. There's how astrology comes to the rescue, because women who, look at that and know that that's in the chart can be extra careful and take precautions. Probably the worst way to deliver a child would be in hospital. We know that. Probably the best would be to deliver them in water, in a pool. Now, women who deliver...
That was my plan. I hoped for that, but there was no chance of it. I wasn't dilating, and that ended up as an emergency cesarean. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the world is not ready for things to be done properly, but so we do have to deal with a little bit of trauma that comes from all of this. But further to... See, this is why my concept of syncrota is so important, because you can also look at the degree in which Venus is in. Now, I'll do that, and let's have a look at the 26th degree of Aquarius. Now, see, those degrees belong to Mars. That's the terms of Mars. So, now Venus and Mars in conjunction or anything like that is not really good for things all to do with Venus. All very good for Mars, no problem for Mars, but not for Venus, because he's a malefic, she's a benefic. So he hurts her as Saturn does. So she is in the terms of Mars, in conjunct with Saturn. She's hurt. Your Venus is hurting. So it's and she's not even aspecting at all with any planets. All the other planets are aspecting. Let's have a look at this carefully. No, Mars is also not aspecting. He's all alone there. Interesting. So they're the only two planets in your chart that are not aspecting. So that's interesting. But yeah, all of that negative energy would contribute to that, and everything else dealing with the 12th house ninja. For instance, hidden enemies and deceivers, and it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to be necessarily aware of them, because they usually do things in a hidden way. These are hidden homes. It's not enemies in the light. These are hidden enemies.
I've never suffered with face-to-face enemies in this life, so that must be the case.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. It's really been a privilege and a pleasure, and I'll let you go and hopefully have time for someone else. Thank you, Santos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got one caller here, and I've given you Rezu's information. Bindi got in there just ahead, so I have to do things accordingly. But if you could do Bindi's, and we can get to Rezu or Rob, that would be great if you can do that, Santo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still got a half hour, and depending how much time you have as well.
I'll have to go at the end of the...
I kind of figured as much, but here I'll open up Bindi. So Bindi, keep it short and sweet, and let's get you done here, hun.
Sure, no worries. 11th of November 1971. G'day, Santos, by the way.
Hi. Yeah, how are you?
Sorry.
Good day, mate. Course Ripper.
Time? God love luck. 10 minutes to 10 p.m. in Perth, WA.
10, so 9:50, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. 9:50. Did you say PM?
Yeah. At night. Evening,
yep,
yeah.
9:50 p.m. And Perth, yeah?
Perth, WA, yeah.
Do you? Oh yeah, okay. So 11th of November 71, 9:50 in Perth. Here we go. Alrighty. So Grand Cross in your chart, and Saturn in the 11th, Mars in the 8th. Are part of this Grand Cross in mutable signs. It's a mutable Grand Cross. And it's Mars in the 8th, I said that, Saturn in the 11th, Moon in Virgo in the 2nd, and look at that. You've got Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury, and Neptune, all part of the other edge of this Grand Cross. That is amazing. All right, so Moon in Virgo, Sun in Scorpio, Ascendant in Gemini. Wow, there's a lot of mutable stuff going on in this chart. Ascendant in Gemini, Moon in Virgo, and Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in Sagittarius. So, look, that suggests twins. It suggests twin spirits. A lot of twin spirits are born in configurations like this. It also points to the sexuality. Venus and Mercury being so close together like that, that's a little honey of a conjunction together with Jupiter. That is a real beautiful conjunction. That has to do with charm and magnanimity and appeal, like charming personality. And Neptune is not far from this too. This is a whole bunch of, really, really nice energy planets. Jupiter and Venus together, and Mercury and Neptune. They all have... Mercury swings both ways. If he's with Venus, he'll do what Venus does. If he's with Jupiter, he'll do what Jupiter does. If he's with Saturn, he'll do nasty things like Saturn does. But when he's with good planets, he is like them. So you've got 4 of them lined up all along the 5th and 6th house there, which have to do with illness. Illness is going to be an issue in your chart, sister. What's your name?
Bindi.
Bindi, that's right, Bindi.
Yes.
Wow, it's a day for unusual names too. Ninja, Bindi, they're not usual, are they? Right?
Right.
And Rez is coming up. Okay. Now, Bindi, but you've got the sun. You also have the sun in a beautiful place, as Jupiter was in the 1st house in the last chart. The sun in the 5th house is just magnificent, together with Neptune. It's beautiful placement there. Have to stress that because this configuration or stellium that you have, Jupiter, Venus and Neptune in the 6th house, unfortunately they are in the 6th house, which is the house of illness. So it is going to be a concern, right? If you were born, say, 20 minutes later, it would have been in the 5th house, and it would have had a totally different application, or meaning in your chart. And so your chart accidentally didn't really take advantage of this beautiful placement. Nonetheless, it is, your Jupiter is in Sagittarius, 5 points of domicile. Your Mars is in Pisces. He's the night ruler of water, so he gets 3 points. So there is some essential dignity here. There's 8 points of essential dignity already there. But unfortunately, this health thing needs to be looked at. Let me have a look at... We can probably go around this Grand Cross and have a look at the points. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do the medical stuff, or would you like to look?
Sure, because I'm as healthy as I always have been, so I'm pretty curious where that leads.
All right. Well, your ascendant is in Gemini. Gemini is air. The lords of air by night are Mercury, then Saturn, and then Jupiter. So what you'd have to do is have a look at their placements in the chart, and you'd have to look at their health. Now, Saturn's looking pretty good over there in the 11th house, luckily, because he's retrograding. So, he's the only planet that's retrograding in your chart, and he's actually involved in the Grand Cross and in your health directly, because he's the second ruler of, your ascendant sign. So, look, I'll just say that probably just be on guard there. So let's have a look at those points as we go around the wheel. Okay. I'll start with, Saturn in Gemini. 4th degree of Gemini, pulmonary inflammation. The moon in Virgo, 7 degrees.
That would be heart. Pulmonary, yeah.
No, appetite.
All right.
Pulmonary? No, that's pulmonary is the lungs.
Right.
Okay, the first one. Yeah. Now that's a chronic thing. That's going to be that'll be a chronic thing. It won't be something. Yeah, and look, that'd probably be the one that I'd be strengthening more so in your chart, because Saturn's receiving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's put it 2 squares and 3 oppositions. Those are negative aspects. And that's the pulmonary inflammation, okay? Lungs inflammated. You've never had that problem?
No, never.
Beautiful.
I've had throat infections, but never anything worse than that.
Okay, Virgo, 7 degrees Virgo. Appetite? Weight has always been an issue, but that's going since I've been doing urine therapy. That's like melting off, so I might be. Wow, great stuff.
Yeah, miracle juice.
Told you we have the most tuned-in listeners on the planet.
Yeah. Pneumonia, again, lung stuff going on here. Okay. Pneumonia, 11 degrees. Let's have a look. And eye stuff. Matters to do with the eyes.
Weird. Yeah.
7
Sounds
degrees.
complete opposite of what I'm experiencing. Okay.
Well, did you say, what was the time you were born, did you say?
10 minutes to 10 p.m.
And you have the exact time, definitely, right?
Yeah, that's what my mum said, so I checked.
Okay. 10 minutes to 10. Well, that's what I've done. All right. Now, and that's it. That's the health stuff. There's not much, really. There's only a few points. The lungs and the eyes and contagious diseases I picked up there, too.
Yeah.
Probably, stuff.
Yeah. I can place this all in my childhood, more than recent, but I'll keep that under advisement.
Well, yeah. Well, look, Mercury again. See, you look at your chart. Mercury's in the 6th house together with Jupiter, and those are two of your indicators for your health because of your ascendant being in air. So, but Mercury's the first one. Mercury will definitely be the worst placed out of the three. So the other two are strong. Look, this is how it happens. If the first lord is debilitated, the native will suffer for the first third of their lives. Now, I've seen that in the case of many people. I've had relatives who have been sickly for many, many years, and all of a sudden they've just snapped out of it when they've, in their 20s or in their 30s, right, early 30s. And that's because, rest assured, it would be because something has changed in their chart, one of the changeover of the rulerships of the planets. And I myself have found this in the charts of many, many people too. So, and you will have heard of it. We all experience this, where people's health actually improves in the latter part of their lives. And you see people who live to a long age and rather robustly, whereas they were very sickly when they were first born, and grew up very sickly with all sorts of things like weak heart and asthma and everything like that. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, was like that. And, he was sick, always sick when he was a little boy. And now he never gets anything, because the lord of his house changed rulership.
Yeah, right. Amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Any particular questions? Okay, let's have a look at the lord of the chart, so the dominant planet here.
Yeah. My question would have been.
Yeah, look, I don't know how to give this, because essentially Jupiter is dignified by being in Sagittarius, but by being in the 6th house, he loses all of that, really. But nonetheless, he still is the best placed planet. I've got to go by dignities in preference to accidental placement, really. So there's Jupiter. Mercury is also a ruler because your ascendant is in Gemini. Also, it's the closest planet to your sun, so there's Mercury again. Your moon is in the 7th degree of Virgo. We need to use the moon for indicator because you have a night chart. So the moon in the 7th degree of Virgo, that belongs to Mercury. So you're all Mercury. It's all intellect and communication, and you're probably... Yeah, and Mercury being in the 6th house, which is the house of work and service to others, you probably will be very good in a job, if you're going to do that, where you can a career or something to do with communicating to help people because of the chart. Venus conjunct Mercury is a charming thing, so you can be whatever you say will be will be useful because it will please it will please people. So pleasing.
I'm a social worker. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I'm also an artist, so I communicate through various
use the communication.
Yep. I have a strong intuitive connection with Mercury anyway. It's one of the first planets.
Yep, that's going on. And since you've got an ascendant in Gemini, that also indicates, mercurial interests. This is a person usually who likes to, think about hermetic themes, because Mercury does incline one to, more towards unconventional types of studies, esoteric, really.
Yeah.
And in particular, when Mercury is conjunct Jupiter. I have Mercury Jupiter conjunction, and these are born astrologers. That's what Firmicus says. Mercury conjunct Jupiter makes astrologers. In fact, let me read that, because I want to read also what it says about your Mercury-Venus conjunction there. Many charming people that we know have this Mercury-Venus thing. Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, Casanova, he charmed a bunch of women, didn't he? A lot of successful people in Hollywood and entertainers have this Mercury-Venus conjunction. Okay, so it's good for entertainment and showbiz too,
Yeah. Right.
Let's have a look at Jupiter in conjunction with Mercury. So, Jupiter and Mercury in conjunction make the natives powerful, outstanding in counsel and oratory, trained in all fields of learning and the objects of general admiration. They are particularly outstanding as orators for the fluency of their speech. Some, because of their intelligence and learning, will be in charge of royal letters and archives. Yeah. Now, I don't know, I thought it was Firmicus that spoke about astrologers. I think it's another one. Let me check. Oh, yes. Okay. If Mercury is joined with... This is from Bonacci. That was from Firmicus. If Mercury is joined to Jupiter, it signifies knowledge of arithmetic and of all things which pertain to number, and the knowledge of writing beyond other writers. If he wished to study it, and philosophy, namely astronomy and other quadrivial sciences. There you go.
Right. That's awesome. Except for the fact that I have this, I'm like word blind, but with numbers. So that's amazing.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what the conjunction means. We didn't look at Venus Mercury. Now I'm a bit sort of where's Venus and Mercury? Venus and Mercury in conjunction make natives handsome and agreeable and attain all their wishes. They are trained. There's a little bit here where it talks about urges to bed many women. So that would apply to men. But this is what I was saying before.
Don't worry.
Of course, what it does, what I'm saying, and what is being suggested here, is that it does stimulate the sexual desires. Now, Venus is sexual, you see. This is where things like venereal disease comes from. It comes from Venus, and to venerate, etc. But Mercury is prolific. He travels around a lot, right? So he's running around every 88 days. He does an orbit. So like the moon, when Mercury and the moon attach themselves to a planet, they give them the sort of, they add new number to what that planet signifies. So, Mercury is sort of interested in getting around, right? So, hence Casanova, he was boasting in his own autobiography. I think he boasted to have bed, I think it was 300 women or something like that, right? So that's what this. Now, your conjunction is different because Jupiter makes part of it, and see, Jupiter is more sort of Jupiter is the great benefic. So this lifts up both Venus and Mercury to Jupiter's more sort of honourable standard. They are trained in speaking. This is what I was saying before. They are trained in speaking so that they always delight the ears of their hearers, or they are successful musicians and singers or famous poets. So that's what Venus does conjunct Mercury. Singers, poets, really sort of produces a sort of a bohemian, sort of a musical type of person, right? So this is where the sexiness comes in too, right?
I just want to jump in here for a sec, guys. We got about 11 minutes here.
Okay, next person.
I don't want to rush you along. I got Ray Sue waiting. If you can do that. Plus, I have a caller. I'm just going to crack their line open quick.
Thanks, Scott.
Hey. No worries, Bindi.
No, it's great. I mean, that's the thing about readings. You can go on, and they're fascinating. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna open up the caller. I put the information in our chat window in the call, Santo. So it's all there if you want to dig that up, and I'll bring this caller in right now. I do try to stay ahead of things, right? Nothing like producing and hosting shows. Anyway, area code 859.
Oh yeah. Hi, Kate.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'll stay neutral on that, but I'm glad to be speaking with you anyway. Glad to be above ground. I just wanted to say hello and say hello to Santos and Santos. I know this is a lot of work to do these readings, and so I would like to. I'm the guy that communicated with you on Facebook on Mr. Spiritual Sprezzatura, if you remember that.
Yes, Sprezzatura.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Well, that's extremely rare compliment. Let me tell you. I used to, before all of this consciousness started to expand, I used to think I was sort of like the sharpest blade in my part of the woods. But the more that geniuses like you two that I run into, I realize that I'm quite insignificant and really know nothing. So that's
that's exactly how I feel, brother, and that's a very
me too.
humble way to be, because we are forever returning to the knowledge that we once lost, and so we should always, be, humble enough to be able to accept learning from other people, and appreciate those words.
Well, that's you deserve them, Kate. You deserve them too. But as far as the reading goes, I don't want to take your time. I know your time's valuable. But actually, I would, I don't know. I mean, I would really like to pay you for a reading, for a couple of readings. Man, how would I do that? How would I,
just send me another message on Facebook, and I'll give you all the information that you need.
Okay,
brother.
Super. Okay.
Yep, and for anyone listening, I know there's a couple of guys. I've got about 3 or 4 bookings of charts that I have to do, and I will be leaving for Europe in 13 days, right? So, but a couple of people have expressed their concern. Will you be able to do it? Yes, I will. I have every day free from now till then. I'm using it to prepare myself for the tour so that I can have fresh and new information, but I can definitely take time out to do, chart readings if I have to do that. And some of these are bookings, that I've booked a long time ago too. So, I do everything that's on the plate as it comes to me.
So you actually write it out. It's by narrative form. Is that how you do that?
No. What I do is this, Rob. I always share my screen on Skype. So you need to be good with Skype. You need to know how to, pick up a link in the chat, because I give you links of things, information, and stuff like that. So, and you need to be able to know how to, expand the Skype screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Because I like to show people, point to people to what I'm doing and showing them where the stuff is going on in their chart. So I don't write it out. I teach as I go. So if you book, say, an hour, for an hour, you'll be seeing what I'm doing with my cursor, and I'll be training you and teaching you how to do it. So that's my style.
Well, I may be a little behind the curve because I'm not on Skype yet, but I'm going to be. Just for this purpose, I'm going to sign up.
Yeah, so we can get you included in our chat rooms as well, and get you hooked in with the rest of the incredible folks I get to hang out with.
Yeah, sure. I look forward to it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'll love it. Promise.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time.
I think he was talking to you, Santo.
I'm sorry. And ladies, I'm sorry. I'm still having trouble.
Apologize. No, that's good. It's I like to be a point of light that says, I just made your day interesting, and boy, made you look twice, didn't I? Yeah. There's no apology needed for that. That's called awakening. It's beautiful.
Well, whichever, you're an amazing person, so that's, for what it's worth.
Oh, it's right back at you. That's just your mirror talk. So, told you. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right on, eh?
All right. Yeah. So is this your chart? Is this your chart, Rob? That we have 23rd of April.
Oh, that's Rezu from the UK.
Oh, okay. That's Rez from the UK. Yeah. Rezu. Okay, let's do that one then. Okay. All right. Well, I'll only have time for this though. That's the thing, unfortunately.
No
but yeah. All right. So here we have a Taurian with ascendant also in Taurus, but the sun is in the 12th house. So it's really out of the ascendant. It's not in the ascendant. So you missed out on that by 20 minutes. But nonetheless, this chart is full of essential dignity, really. Venus in Taurus, 5 points. Jupiter in Pisces, 5 points. And Mars in Capricorn, 4 points for exaltation. And another 5 points, Pluto in Scorpio. So this is, one of the charts that is just full of essential dignities. Accidental placements are pretty good too. Venus in the first house. Just like the first person we did today, Ninja, who had Jupiter in the first house in Aries, which was a favorable house. This is Venus in Taurus, in the first house. The negative thing with that, though, is that it's a day chart. So Venus doesn't get all the goodies, doesn't give you all the goodies that she possibly could. If the sun was below the horizon, Venus in the first house, she'd love the dark. She wants to come up before the sun. She doesn't want to be an evening Venus. And look at the word evening. It begins with, well, you can see the name Venus inside, hiding inside the word evening, right? Because she evens things out. She's the ruler of Libra, which evens the scales of evening things out. So this is the type of person that she's causing you to be, beautiful to be in Taurus, just absolutely beautiful, but somewhat diminished by being, in a night chart. Venus on the ascendant by night, will make men of divine intelligence, friends of emperors. That's what you would have got, but what you get is just, the good things that Venus does, sort of not in her glowing brilliance, but you still get her goodies, you see. And you have a very, very big 12th house. You see, this is because of, you must have been born high up in altitude. Where's that? Rotherham in South Yorkshire. Yeah, right up there. Yeah, so because of, again, refraction of the horizons, some of these houses are really, really big, which causes your... you might want to do your shout-outs and...
Thank you. Great big thank you to criticalmassradio.co.uk, Paul Giovanni, Lisa, the crew at Critical Mass. Thank you guys so much for setting such a good table for us to be able to sit around and chat every night. Thank you. Carry on, Santo.
Yeah. Now, Jupiter in the... Let's have a look at Sun in the 12th. Jupiter in the 12th I was looking at. That's it. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, you're not getting the best out of Jupiter either. So, there's hindrance and stuff like that. This is what happens when planets are in the 12th house. Now, you've got Jupiter, the Sun, and Mercury. Mercury is well placed in the second house, in the 12th house. But Jupiter isn't, but being in Pisces is giving him strength. Fortunately, otherwise, having such a great essential placement of Jupiter, but accidentally placed in the 12th house is not the best thing. But nonetheless, Jupiter is very, very good in your chart. You have Saturn in the 7th, which is good for by day, which is good for the long term. Saturn is there to look after you in the long term when it comes to wealth. These people slowly accrue wealth, slowly build up their value, and that is also in terms of material things as well. Mars in Capricorn, together with Neptune in the 9th house. This is a very, very spiritually activated person. Absolutely. Probably in an aggressive way, you could say. You probably would be inclined to, you're probably a person who is known for, their spiritual side, I'm sure. It wouldn't be hidden. It's not something that you keep secret. Can't be. Now, ruler of the chart would be Mars. Venus also, by virtue of your Taurus ascendant. Let's have a look. Venus is in the first terms of Taurus. That belongs to Venus. So you got 2 Venuses, 1 Mars, Moon in Libra, 2 Mars because your Moon is in Libra. And share it. Your chart is equally. I'd probably give it to Mars, the most dignified planet, but your chart ruler is Venus. She edges him out of the way. 3 to Venus, 2 to Mars, but it's all Venus and Mars. Again, another sort of a sexual kind of combination there. Another one. Alrighty. So, any questions?
Not that I'm getting, but great, awesome. Thank you, Santo. I know we ran a little past the clock here for you. Always a pleasure on Friday nights to have you. I'd have you more nights if I could. You know that. And just another reminder, I will be starting up tarot readings. I'll try it out for a night or two and see how it goes. On Sunday night, and more the laid-back sort of evening, and saving that in case some major monster, typical everyday epiphany shows up, which I'll share anyway. But thank you again, Santo, and I look forward to chit-chatting with you. I would love to have a chat with you regarding the last couple of messages regarding that, I guess, legal, whatever that stuff was. Like the panel discussion sort of thing.
I'll hook that up in time. Just give me a little bit of time. And Paul is eager. He's discovered something he thinks it deserves to be shared. So
okay.
We'll organise that. Thank you, listeners. Thanks, Kate, and we'll talk next week. Next week will be the last one before I do the tour. I am open to jumping on Skype and getting on the show if I'm available. You need to just keep Skyping me. You know how it works.
I know. It's like it's an open door because there isn't one. So we just go with the flow, and it's all good. Never. That's the whole point of this. This is about go and just let things be, and you'll be where you'll be, and I'm good either way. Fair?
Yep. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Much love to you, and thank you so much again. Friday Night Syncretism with yours truly, Santos Bonacci. So thank you very much, and I'll catch up with you as soon as possible. Okay?
Okay.
All right, my
Bye-bye.
friend. Take care of you. Bye-bye.
Cheerio, mate.
So there we go. Another great night. So see, get over to the board here. That's the thing about just sitting back. It's not a whole lot of work. Just letting Santo do his thing, and it was always great to hear him. I love the readings specifically with people in that, everyone has a different chart, but we all have a lot of the same things in common, so we can learn a bit about ourselves for the the charts that have things interrelating. Plus, the other side benefit of it is, especially hearing charts from people I'm acquainted with, I get a chance to see how even closer how charts interact with people, and of course, when you're dealing with real live experience, you get to see it in action. So it's really cool. So with Ninja and Bindy's charts in particular tonight, I was not surprised in the slightest, and I had a couple of chuckles too. So it was really, alongside you guys, it was great because bingo! Isn't that funny how that works? So it's neat because you get that confirmation of self, and you get to delve a little bit deeper into yourself, and I get to experience the mirrors and the perspectives of others through the charts. So it's a win-win,
Most definitely.
Yeah. And just to let people know, the lines that I've opened are still open, so we'll make it a bit of an open forum here and see what pops up. And Cindy, we got you in the call here. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, Kate. I'm doing wonderful, and I absolutely adored this show. This was really, really, really wonderful because over the past week, Santo and I on the side have been doing this very same thing. I'm learning so much in the process, just in reading the charts, but we're looking at all the famous criminals, famous musicians, and just pulling up whoever we can think of, and he's on a chart roll right now, and it's showing, and it's really awesome because it sparked my, I've been reading my own chart and other people's, but as far as just being able to look at it and talk about it without having to look up what the different meanings are, that it's really becoming a lot easier for me. So I'm absorbing this by osmosis almost. It's really, I love it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. When you get to actually, this is the thing, guys. When you get into actually doing something and you start making it part of your routine because you're actually interested in it, your learning curve goes exponential, and your knowledge curve acts accordingly.
Well, I made a comment once before. I forget who was on the call, but it's like this. You look into yourself and you start learning how to read your own chart, and then you get really good and drunk on yourself, and then your curiosity starts turning to your children, your family, your friends, the people around you. And what's funny is I had some company in my house the other day, and they're listening to me, talk about all this stuff all the time. Well, they actually asked me to take them to the computer. Two friends, just mutual friends, a young girl and a young guy. And, she's married to another fellow, but this particular guy is just a really good long-time childhood friend of hers. And they were born close to the same town, the same year, the same month. And it was really interesting. I pulled their charts up they were almost exact mirror opposites of each other. It was really fascinating. So now they are on this astrology kick. And these are just friends of mine that listen to me babble on about the truth and what's really going on, and they're biting on it. They're curious now. And we had a get together last night for 4th of July, just a few friends over at this woman's house, and a whole group of people started talking about it, and I told them what websites to go to check it out. So it is like a tidal wave. Jump on it and ride it.
See, and there's the good thing about these corporate parties for the corporate slave citizens, in that it is a part of a, quote, mind control, unquote, by habit. It's also a beautiful opportunity. That's the evil. Let's go to the good, where you get an opportunity to sit around with people you don't normally see, and you get to plant all these glorious little seeds.
Yep. Oh, yes. Fairy dust.
Fairy dust. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Yes. So it's just been a wonderful week. And it's wrapping up nicely. So I got to say, since the solstice and the supermoon, there's been a pretty, for a few days, and we're in Mercury retrograde, so I've had all kinds of stuff. 2 cameras broken, SD card, and computer glitches out the wazoo. But actually, I just made my mind up the other day. You know what? I'm just going to ride this and not worry about what breaks, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Now, all of this stuff is just coming to me. So much stuff is happening all at once. By the way, my brother will be home Tuesday.
Oh, good stuff.
Yes. So we are finally almost finished with this. And so it's all good, all looking good. So good Japan, here we come.
Good stuff, yeah. You finally got word. Good job.
Yes, finally.
Right on. Were you catching the first part of the show tonight?
I came in at about 15 minutes in. So, yes, I did. I had just walked back in from the store and sat down. I think I missed the first 10, 15 minutes of it, but I was listening, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, because
one of the things, this is all part of the synchronicity, right, of all the different layers working together, and as the astrotheology is the as above mirror to the as below, which is a physical representation of the physical fact. You can take the spiritual aspect from it as well and see how the cause is working. And it's one of the reasons why I'm going out of my mind trying to get people to grasp what it is I've been saying for the last couple of years.
Find out who you are. Find out who you are.
Yeah. Well, I was speaking more in the fact that you're not the name, but yes, that's exactly it.
Exactly. See, I am.
Yeah.
I am that I am.
Yeah. Know thyself. Thyself is not a name. Here's a couple. You've heard me mention Epimetheus and Prometheus before?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Epimetheus, just to give people some background here, Epimetheus and Prometheus, of course, were mythical brothers, and were given the task of assigning different things to all the different animals and what have you on the planet. So Prometheus figured, I'll leave it to Epimetheus, no problem. So Epimetheus went about and, of course, acting without thinking, just went blah, 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 blah. When it came to humans, well, there was no fur left, there was no fangs, there was no horns, there was no armor plating or anything. All the inventory had been used up, so man was left as this naked beast, as it were, with minimal hair protection, of course, going to be cold in the cold climate. Prometheus, having seen this, thought, oh, okay. So in order to fix things, as the myth stated, Prometheus gave mankind fire to keep warm. That was an allegory. What Promethean fire is knowledge. That the Promethean fire is the knowledge of the tree of life and of course the tree of knowledge. But let's go a little bit deeper. Let's have a look at the breakdown of Epimetheus and Prometheus. Because when we have first glances at words, we just kind of, it's Epimetheus and Prometheus. Well, let's have a look at it just real quickly here. Just to show you a little something that, you may not have noticed. What does epi mean to you?
Epi,
Well, you've heard of, like an
epidermis is what I think of, but I know the dermis is your skin, so the outer.
Okay, so what is the epi? If you've got the dermal layer and you have the epidermal layer. So where is the epidermal layer located?
Oh, so it's inner?
Well, it's under, right?
Under, okay.
It's below. So, like the epicenter.
Right?
Yeah. The EpiPen for injecting, of course, because you have to go under the skin. So we have epi as under. So, and of course, in Latin, pro means four.
Over.
Oh, four. Or
four.
Here we go. So let's have a look at epi or epa me theos. Pro me theos. Get it?
Beautiful, yes I do.
Okay. So
yes.
this
me
is
God.
Yes. Either you're for it or you're under it.
Under it, yep.
So you make your choice, right? And of course, in order to be for God, you must be the one to think first, then act. Because by one's actions, one is known. And if one is acting first and thinking later, well, then one is under an illusion of God. And that God is an external one, right?
That's right.
So there you go. There was just I just throwing these little tidbits out so that people start listening and slowing down when they're speaking. And as I was saying earlier in the show, when you put show and tell together, boys and girls, kindergarten, which is Judge Bow's day, that's what I did. I put my words down and I spoke them.
Yes.
And there's no wiggle room there. There's no assumption and presumption. Better bow out, buddy. Take a run.
Yeah, and he did, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's funny. I was listening to a portion. Someone had sent me a link to an interview that Dean Clifford had just done with. It was on Truth Connections, I believe. And,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Judge Bows came up. Someone had called in about it, right? And even after all this time, with how long I've known Dean, I will say right now that although he has a reasonable idea of what happened, his assessment was completely inaccurate.
Oh, really? I did not hear that show.
Yeah, well, and no harm, no foul to Dean. Cause, I really haven't. He had a rough idea, but again, as I was listening to that show, all I was hearing was regurgitated court puke.
Okay. Yeah.
Regurgitated system speak. No understanding of what's really going on. Still trapped in the illusion of the name. Still trapped in the illusion of physical, gimme land. Yeah. I could sit in on anyone right now and absolutely shred any sort of legal argument they have. Because as soon as they open their mouths about what they're going to do, I don't care if it's contract law, trust law, I've done all that shit. UCC, all of it. I've been through it all. Okay? I actually read a lot of stuff that I understood from a lot of people that are very difficult to understand, and that's where I pulled all this stuff. Where do you think this information comes from? Right? I mean, this is, and I'm going back three years ago. So the fundamental thing is, and this is the whole argument that people have. They're going in trying to be fighters and belligerents and all the rest of it, but they haven't got a clue who they are yet. They're still dealing in the physical game. They're still caught up in the illusion. And I don't care what anybody says. If you say that you're not part of the system, and again, this is a no harm, no foul. This is an observation. Do not turn to me and tell me that you're not part of the system while still maintaining, you say you've got no ID or anything else, but you're still maintaining a prepaid Visa card. It's got a name on it. It's ID. It's still fraud.
True.
Okay? Even the use of cash is fraud.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing. They've got everyone using fraudulent currencies to keep you in fraud, to keep you clinging to it. So how do you step aside from that? Well, it's simple. You just got to turn the tables and let them know, I'm onto the fraud. You guys committed it. How are you going to fix it now? How are you going to how are you going to give back all that energy that was stolen through deception? Because we got to go back to nunc pro tunc now for then. Yeah. This is my next and final step.
Nice.
Just to see.
Well, it's beautiful. Your work is amazing, Kate. It really is, and I sure hope more people can take the time to read it, because it's an eye-popping opener.
Oh yeah, well, it's as simple as this, guys. And anyone that's got anyone listening, if you've got any legal issues, okay, if you're still stuck to the name and Pinocchio still got lots of strings on him, that's what your ID is, puppet. Then fine. Well, let me give you something that is a chainsaw to the system strings to you, and that's I who shall not be named. Read the damn thing and understand what it's saying. This is exactly what Jesus did when he walked into the temples. He turned the tables on them. He kicked them over. And you're still dealing with the same scribes and phi rho C's. Okay? It all comes back to that. It's still the same game. It's all allegorical. Just bring it into the now, and you'll see it. Everything is now. And like I said, there are no history books and there are no prophecy books. Everything is right now. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're reading, albeit in the past, because if your eyes are open, you're in the past, you're seeing what was. You'll never see anything as it is unless you close your eyes. That's your reality, right? That's the only one that exists in the now. Everything else is illusion. It's past. It takes light time to travel to your eyes. I don't care if it's tip of your nose or a star a million light years away. It still takes time. You're seeing it as it was, never as it is. So get in the now and start understanding that. And more importantly, once you're in the now you can move into the preset and start creating your reality for you. And it's one of the reasons why the energy from one individual here has just got me so distracted. I need to get the hell out of here, because and of course trying to bring these shows to people and share the things that I'm seeing in the preset when I'm distracted, it's not quite as easy. So it's I'm gonna go and hang out with Vicky tomorrow for a little bit and see where I go from there. It's gonna be an interesting weekend. So there you go. But jump in, guys. Feel free. Questions, answers, whatever, doesn't matter.
I thought I'm not sure who that is. The caller that's on.
We have Rob on the line. We have Bindi and Ninja's line still open. Anybody else? You know how to do it. Tag me in the Skype room if you don't know how to open up your dial pad. I'd love to have you jump in. And let's keep this rolling,
Bindi and Ninja, your readings were awesome. That was really, really cool to listen to. That's a pleasure.
Oh, and another thing too, what Ninja just put down here as well. Absolutely, epi in Greek meaning over or upon, right? Everything means it's equal and opposite.
Yep. That's what I did with some of the reading as well. I put it in the mirror and saw exactly what was being read.
That's all you got to do, It's just put it in the mirror. I mean, see, that's the only time I ever get lost for words when it's so obvious. It's like, why am I saying it? I've been saying it for so long. It's like
it's on automatic.
Yeah, and it's like, mirror, mirror. Do I have to keep saying that? Mirror, mirror. If you want to see the world, if you want to slay Medusa, you're not going to do it looking at her square in the eye. She's going to turn you to stone. Okay, Perseus, so pick up your fucking shield and reflect. Take her head off in the mirror, you morons. And I'm saying that because I was a moron for a long time. I get it,
I'm guilty.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
See, so who's guilty now? No one.
Nobody.
We're all still here, so.
Yeah, we do this together. As soon as you can shimmer out. Okay, you figured it out.
We're all still here.
So, it's time to redirect this movie that's been directed for us for so long, and but everybody, let's quickly stare at all the illusions, all the rubbernecking distractions. You're the resistance to fear porn.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it still hurts to do it though.
I know.
I'm only good for maybe 2 of those per show. So anyway, but you get the point, right? Keep it light, keep it fun, and oh man.
Kate, we love you.
Oh.
And what you said earlier on about the strings being cut and that you feel them. Well, I've had my share of cut strings today.
Yeah, but I tell you, you soar a whole lot easier when they're cut.
Yeah, that too. You bleed a while first, though.
Well, absolutely, you bleed. And guess what? Yeah, guess why people have such a hard time with it. What do you mean I don't get my Cheerios in the morning with cream and sugar and strawberries and spoon-fed to me and get my bum wiped anymore? Well, sorry, you kind of have to be all growed up.
Yeah, well, they're the kiddie pool strings. I'm more about the relationships ending in friendships and actually being rubbish, and those illusions. They're the harder ones. The food stuffs, that's just a kiddie pool. I don't mind that so much, but today I just got stabbed in the back by a couple of friends. I realized.
I get that daily.
Damn, yeah.
I get it daily.
Yep.
I mean, I got to tell you, how bad does it get when the being that you went out of your way in so many ways, and costs a lot of money too, guys, by the way, to have this being, that lives in the same place as I'm walking to go get my car from the back parking lot. She's walking up and she can't even look at me. What's that all about? Well, I'll tell you what it's all about. It's all about guilt. It's all about, what have you done to me? I already know, because the grapevine always gets the information back to me. And knowing the history of this individual and what have you, it's not surprising. Anyway, I can get into all sorts of great details and what have you, but it's irrelevant. It's so absolutely childish.
Yeah.
It is beyond childish.
It's also sometimes, I think, a reflection of, without wanting to sound arrogant or like I'm there, because I'm not shimmering out. I'm still here. So it's one step for small step for man, but I think it's also a reflection of if your frequency raises, some people just drop off.
Oh, this one, yeah, this one is definitely off the radar.
From one day to the other, they can look at you and think, who are you? And most of the time I look back and think the same thing. Who have you become?
And that's the thing, too. And I know I'm an extremely difficult mirror to look into. Well, then don't look. If you can't handle yourself, don't look.
That's one of the few I keep my eyes open and no need to blink. So there's the other side, too.
And I promise you, because no one has been harder on me than me. And if you think I'm going to treat you any less than I'll treat myself, think again. Because I cared enough about me to do it for me. And here's the bottom line: if you don't want truth, if you don't want freedom, if you really are happy in this quagmire and all the rest of it, then do not. I repeat, do not hang out with me. Do not even come onto these shows. Do not converse with me, because all I'm going to do is be a mirror.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not much of a cleanaholic, thank God. But I have to say, the one thing I keep spotless and shiny every day is your mirror.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's again, it's everyone's so busy talking about everybody else's house and you go to their place and it's a pigsty. I'm talking metaphorically of the body, and the condition of the mental state and the soul, and how much ego is still in complete control. I mean, it takes a lot of ego to not look at someone. And that's only because you cannot confront that which you have done to them. You see, someone that it is trying to, here's the mirror. You don't avoid anyone because of something they did to you. You avoid them because it's something you did to them. And you don't want to confront that in yourself. So when someone comes to you trying to make amends, open your arms. Yet how many times? And again, this is, for me, it's all about, well, what are we dealing with? What is there something I've done that I'm not seeing, that I need to be aware of? Please tell me. You can't offend me in this. Let me have a look at it and go from there. But the vast majority of people can't even get to that point, where they'd rather wallow in the self-pity, the victim, and oh, look what you did, or I'm getting even with you, and vengeance. It's basically, that's all it is. It's a vengeance program running. Why? What good is that energy? What good is, that's as we used to refer to it, I call that dumb energy. It's there's no point. You cannot converse with it. And it's pure ego. It's pure program. That is a big wall of shit to try to scrape through to get to the being. I wish you the best of luck, because that kind of shit has to be cleaned by the individual themselves. You're not getting that off their window. I mean, I'll take a chainsaw to it, but they'll just keep adding to it, right? So this is why. Go ahead.
The only part I'd chainsaw off is the part that they're trying to stick onto me. That's all.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Rest, shit. So try to hinge the responsibility onto me? Snip, snip.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's the biggest lesson here, is that every time someone does stab you in the back, let it go. Probably a dead cadaver fooling around anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll give you an example. This individual was quite content to sit on her ass all day playing mahjong while I was still in the tent and everything else. Made sure she was taken care of. Lots of mileage, by the way. Didn't get offered a nickel when the engine went. I actually got a giggle out of her. That was nice. And to the point where I'd already basically used up any resources I had, and of course this individual and another one, when they came to the reservation last year, basically cleaned me out of any cash I had. No one else was buying food, right? So, and of course they didn't come with anything, so it's like, okay, great, here we go again. Let's just empty everything. I've got nothing left, so let's just take it right down to nothing, including for me. So, and then of course, I do the once over, once up, once down, and listen, and of course, coached her right through their job. She takes 1 minute to maybe a minute and a half to walk to, and is actually making more than she was working where she was for 15 years, to the point where actually the pittance that she pays in terms of board here, which is peanuts, is actually less than the extra that she's getting, what she was making before. So she's actually in a better environment. So, and of course, that all gets turned around. Never mind the numerous trips, i.e., and I'm talking one day that was, it was just over 8 hours of driving to get her sorted out, and then have to do it again. 3 times I did it. And this is it. This was the last stop. And now I get word back through the grapevine that this is being told to, take care of yourself. Okay? Listen, sorry, we can't carry you. We're having a hard enough time carrying ourselves.
Meal tickets revoked.
We do this together, okay? Turn the mahjong off and go do something. Okay, and that was the main reason. This is one of the individuals that I was looking at getting a house rented. Victoria had arranged some stuff, and he was going to be there. But there was no way. One, she isn't going to, can't drive a car, doesn't know how to drive one. She's never had kids, never had it. Has no concept of responsibility except for herself, and that's quite evident. This isn't all about me, right? And sure, I'm, going to get somewhere, and then I'm going to be the one to take you to work every day and back. Sorry, what'd your last slave die of? Fucking stupidity, But anyway, long story short, the word comes back to me, a number of days back, about a week ago, I guess now, that she's out there spewing that she had to go out and, go find a job so that she could support me and Eric. Do you see what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this
threw it back in your face. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm just sharing it with the world now. This is what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. She sneaks in and out of the house. It's just sick.
The thing is, Kate, you couldn't have made that up.
No.
You couldn't even imagine that shit to make it up.
No.
So it has to be true, because no one's got that level of, unless it's in them. Oh no.
I can get into some other real nitty-gritty details, but I'm not going to bother. Just it's not worth it. But I got to tell you, cleaning up after people and someone that won't even lift a hand to do dishes, vacuum, clean, leaves messes for others. And it's ongoing. It's ongoing. And of course,
hey,
the energy.
Bindi, you looking for a housemate?
What, mate?
You looking for a housemate? You don't want that one, do you?
No. I've just got rid of the slob. Oh, thanks. No. For God's sake, I just cleaned the whole house in 1 week, and she came by today, and she had to wipe her shit off on me. Jealousy just oozing. Okay, enough wallowing. Right.
Anyway, I'm just letting you know, and all through this, I'm still bringing the stuff to the table.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine if I'm actually in a happy space? and Eric's great. Don't get me wrong. Eric's awesome.
If you're connected to Source, these people can't break you or bring you down. They can only temporarily sidetrack you.
Yeah. Well, right? I'm just sick of the puke feeling. Anytime I'm in the energy.
There's only so much anyone can take, and we all have our breaking point.
Yeah, I'm at it.
Yep.
So, and I tell you, there's a 3,200 kilometer trek that it's looking really, really, really nice right about now. That's running the gauntlet.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So I'll be having a little chat with Vicky tomorrow.
Well, I hope you enjoy your day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And every day.
Yep. I mean, there's a nice little place actually in that village. I have no idea how much it is, but of course I'm no condition, no position to do it, and I won't. I'm at the mercy of the universe right now, and I'm okay with that.
Put it out there, Kate.
It's already out.
Put it out there, and it's going to happen.
That's already underway. I already know that.
Yeah.
How? I don't know, but I just feel it, and
you don't need to know how. Just know it.
So there you go. Yeah, a day in the life of Kate. A day in the life of Kate. How do you like it? Isn't it great?
It's a real reality show. This is what it's all about.
So that's there's the basis of the whole rescue program of what was the real motivator. So a lot of good things came out of it, and that was the biggest lesson of all. Stop rescuing people, especially people that as soon as you do will turn around and stab you in the back. Numerous times, not just once. Yep. It's crazy. And based on a few things that I've looked at, she's been very busy. The last comment she ever made in the chat room was, "An elf came to visit me today," and I'm thinking, came to visit who? That was the black.
I remember that day.
Yeah, the Black Slaw book that was delivered for me, and but if you read the post, it was everything to do with her, and that's what she is. She's a claiming coat tailer, And that is a very pitiful state of being. And that's why I hate pedestals, because as soon as the only way an ego can build or take down a pedestal or to appear stronger than others is to build a pedestal for them and then knock it out from under them, right? And that's exactly another one of the programs. I mean, she's got the gauntlet running with her, 34 going on 8, 9 maybe. And I'm being kind. It's just sad to watch.
Yes, it is.
So these are parts of our consciousness that I can concern myself about, and that how the hell do you heal that? And of course, although it's a sliver, it's still a reflection that I have to look at and go, no, that's not something I would do. No, can't do that. No. So it's a beautiful contrast, but I'm kind of sick of looking at it because I already know it's not something I would do. It's like, let's just say everywhere I've ever been, I always bring abundance to others. Always. It's always been that way. And the old saying, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But now it's time to be the bride.
Yeah, marry yourself. It's the best option.
Well, that would be nice too, to actually have someone I could converse with on a different level. Being single has its virtues, but it's got its mirror too, right? And of course, my moon is in Venus. My Venus rules me. All three indicators are Venus with me, just like yours are Mercury, Bendy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so that's, and hey, I got a party in the Aquarius 11th house. I got, actually, I'll tell you what I've got in my 11th house. I cracked it open just as Santa was reading the charts, just to see if there was anything I could spot for me.
So did I.
Yeah, in the 11th house I have Mars, I have Mercury, I have the Sun, I have Venus, and I have my North Node, all in the 11th house.
Repeat that? Say that again?
I have Mars, Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and my North Node are all in the 11th house.
Oh, wow. See, I have Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all in Aquarius.
There you go.
Yeah, the only thing I have in my 11th house is Mars.
Yep.
So, but nice. That's really nice.
So it's an Aquarius rules the 11th house, right? So.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd love to actually see this one's chart because I've never seen it. Oh, I got some Skype chats going on here. So, yeah. So sorry, guys. Just kind of letting loose a little bit, and let you know what the world of Kate is like on a daily basis. That's the thing too. I've got an echo going on, guys. So someone's got speakers or something happening. Yeah, it's still echoing. Check.
I got headphones on too.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Randy. Let off the steam a little bit. Hey guys, why don't you guys just jump in instead of texting me, for fuck's sakes? I got better things to do than poke buttons. Jesus Christ, I've opened the windows up. Like, put your hand up or tell me you want to talk. I'd rather hear from you than read.
Yeah.
Guess why? That's why I have a radio show.
They're not just pen pals. I would rather stay there.
Chicken shit. I'm not going on with her. She's got a chainsaw rolling right now. Oh, but it's I've got the rubber blade in tonight, so it'll only burn a little bit.
Trying to get out.
Oh man. Oh, no problem. Got you, Randy. He's got his AC on, so it'll just make noise. Oh, I sent hello to Lana Wachowski and just thanked her for doing a beautiful thing that she did.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I watched that again today.
Yep. What to? I actually thought it could have been you standing there, right?
Well, that's the whole point. It was she was telling my story and everyone else's in this particular boat that we ride in. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only question was, oh, how do I fit in here? You know. But hey, it is what it is, and that's the other thing I want to. Okay, this echo is driving me nuts. I'm just going to check the mics. It might be a phone line, so I'm just going to check mics here. Checking 1, 2. Yeah, Rob, it was your phone doing it. It happens on phone, so it's not you. It's just something that happens with Blog Talk. So I had to meet you out there. We have Magnolia coming in. Thanks, Magnolia. Glad to have you. Hello, Magnolia.
Hello.
There you are. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
You can hear me?
Loud and clear, so can the whole world.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Hi guys, how you doing tonight?
Good. So what's up?
Oh, not much. I enjoyed the show with Santo. I was sitting there checking out my chart too.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do on these shows is just check out the chart, or your own as he's going, and see if you have anything that correlates with it. It's like playing bingo. Zodiac bingo.
Oh.
Bingo! I don't have Mars and Leo. That's the ongoing joke. You got Mars.
I loved it. I loved it. That was awesome, Kate.
Yeah, you got Mars and Leo happening? What do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. You must have Mars and Leo. You're angry. No, it's okay. No, it was actually quite funny at the time because if I recall, the individual did have Mars and Leo. It was quite funny.
Mars and Leo. Yeah, I've been sitting here trying to study my chart and figure myself out. It's been quite interesting, very interesting, to look within yourself and find out all these cool things. My chart is, I'm finding a little odd. I mean, I have nothing above the horizon but Cryon. Everything is below the horizon.
Oh, you're hanging
I'm a lot
out
deeper than I thought.
Yeah, you're hanging out in the dark. Well, the darker it gets, the brighter you can shine, right?
Yes, so I'm being told.
There's a whole lot of here, darling. You're in good company.
Yeah, I yes I am. Yes I am. I guess I'm just a little shy and I don't speak much to others much. I haven't in a long time. So
well, I tell you, here's one little hint for everybody. If you were born in the light, i.e., from Aries to Virgo, it is your job to seek the dark contrast. And if you were born below the horizon, Libra through to Pisces, it's your job to seek the light in contrast.
Huh.
Mirror, mirror.
Yin
yang, right?
Yes.
It's like your sign. What does your sign say? Mine and Gemini says, I think. So I have to put it in the mirror and go, oh, yeah, so I got to learn to not think. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, and lo and behold.
I'm a big I want, and so I've got to try not to want. And if I do want, I try to want to
okay, I'm changing people's speak when they say it. Use the word try again and watch what happens. You do
My
or
bad.
do not. No, that's the ego program. It's not you. Right? It's program. It still seeps in. I'm trying to bust people of this speak.
Okay.
Right? And sorry, I'm not even trying anymore. I'm just doing it. Right? So when people do that, I will jump on you. I need you to be the gods that you are. I don't know how many times I can tell you.
I'm just doing it.
Thank you. So you want or you don't want. Not try.
I don't want.
Right. Now I'll say it with try in there. I'm going to try to not want. Oh, look, you're setting yourself up for failure. Good
job.
Well done.
Wow, what
well done. Good program running. Yoda had it right. Try not, do or do not.
Well, then let me rephrase that and say I want things that others want. I've tried to line myself up with the same wants and desires that others want. Clean air, clean water, love in the universe, all that good stuff.
Yeah, if you want to even go further to break the program, start looking at things that you want and say, I don't want that. And watch that little Mrs. Doubtfire get kicked in the ass. That's the trick to the mirror.
I don't want for anything, I just roll with what it is.
Well, look at the things that you do want and say, I don't want that. I'm telling you this for a very specific reason.
Okay.
Try it. You'll like it.
All right. Well, I have been finding that I'm shedding a lot of things out of my life. People, objects, everything.
What I am sharing with you is the ability to manifest the I want.
Mm-hmm.
To make it happen instead of all the doubts. When you look at something and say that you want, and say, I don't want that, what's the first thing that triggers? Well, yes, I do. The doubts are removed.
Yes, I do.
The postulate is made. The seed is now planted. Move along and wait.
Got you.
Yep. That's a
Mirror,
good
mirror.
That makes
Spend your
I get it.
watching it. Yeah.
I'm trying to show people how to break the programs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and that's
fabulous.
that's the only time I'll use the word trying, because it is very trying, I assure you.
I remember that was one of. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I remember that was being one of my granddad's first things he told me when I started learning to read. He said, "You're going to stop putting want in all your sentences, because you become a wanton. You learn to want all your life."
Yes, in need, want. W-O-N-T, to be in want of. Same sound, but lacking.
I don't want to be in.
Oh, you don't want. You actually want to receive it. You just want to want it. Okay, here you go.
No, I don't want to want it anymore.
Well, there you go.
So play the game. Have some fun. Start putting things that you would normally do in the mirror and do them backwards, and wait to see what happens. You're messing with the program when you do that. You're throwing it into conniptions. That's what we're here to do, to bust this ego program. Because until we do, we're going to be at effect to it where others are in control of it by the indoctrinations. This is about changing our speak, our group think and our group speak. Why do you think they want you in schools? Why do you think they want you in churches and government offices?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can keep that program intact.
Right. I homeschooled my boys. I homeschooled them for a little while until I had, put them in high school, but that's another story. But they are so there's such a difference between them being homeschooled and then other children that have gone through all of the programming. They're not as, I don't know, you can tell the difference from, wow. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
Why? Why are you apologizing?
Getting off subject, I guess.
I didn't realize there was a topic tonight. Was there one?
No.
I'm the host, and I don't remember a topic. We had syncretism, of course, being the, but we touched on everything. No, there are. That's why it's called open forum. Whatever hits the table, we look at and go, oh, that's neat.
I'm always very glad to hear parents that homeschool their kids, because in this country, in the Netherlands, do it, you're nailed to the cross. It's impossible. It's unthinkable. So somebody that has got the chance to actually go their own way with schooling with their children, applause. I mean, wow.
I mean, it was. I was able to do it a lot. It was nice to do it up here in Minnesota. I didn't have very many restrictions like other states do, so I was very free to do what I wanted. Teach. It was very lax and relaxed, and I let them do pretty much not what they wanted. They did what they wanted. We learned what they wanted to learn, and they progressed nicely. We had fun, and we enjoyed it. And they are very caring. They're thoughtful of others. With their typical teenagers now, typical stuff for young men, but they're good kids. And I did run into some problems when they did get into high school, but it wasn't that bad. they haven't been in trouble. And I wish more parents would stay at home. I wish society was different.
Well, then we have to change the system. We have to take it down. And
yes, I'm slowly doing that over here where I am.
Well,
I've been studying where I am.
Definitely.
You're actually taking some of the information and using it.
Yes, I am, and enjoying
Magnolia
it.
is one of the ones that is actually taking the information and planting the seeds. That's all I'm asking people to do. The work is done. Mm-hmm. Do I have to come out and call people lazy MFers or what? The work's done. Just get in behind it.
Oh yeah.
That's all it takes. The fraud is revealed. Push it.
Mm-hmm. And the young people that are coming over that are friends of my sons and their friends that come over, to share the information with them. They're getting online and they're starting to study, and it's just wonderful to see that. I've always had a kind of an open house here for when the kids would come over and hang out and do whatever.
And in doing so,
but I like to get on my.
Doing so, that's okay. In doing so, you are changing the intent. We're sitting with about 5 minutes left here, so I just letting you guys know. But that's the key to it. Where people get looking at the physical, well, and here I'll give you a comparison. When people, the friends are learning, they're looking at this, they're coming over and everything else. Yeah, that you're observing the physical. What I'm looking at is the spiritual, the gathering of the intent.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what we need to do. It's changing the intent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when we change,
that's been a beautiful thing.
Yeah, your timing sucks, Magnolia. It really does. Unreal. Yeah, it's kind of like two-way radio, right? Skype. So just be mindful. That's all, because it's very easy to step on mid-sentences if you're not on it. So just let you know. It's the only thing that frustrates me about Skype is that you can't have everybody. And it's probably good, too, in that everyone's not jumping all over the place, right? So, but, for me, it is about, I'm just trying to reinforce your concept. This is kind of what I do. I take this beautiful concept that you just handed to me, and I just want to empower it. So when you have what Magnolia is saying about her boys and the friends coming over, and they're starting to, delve into things that, we weren't able to do when we were teenagers. That is a huge intention shift. That's all we need to do. Plant the seeds, watch them grow. But we got to keep planting the seeds. We can't sit back and go, well, I planted a seed today, and that's good. Yeah, that's great. It will bear fruit. May I suggest maybe an orchard or two? Start planting them everywhere, and that's what it takes. So, well, we got about 4 minutes here, actually about 3, so I'm going to finish off with a song if you guys don't mind.
Great. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I just need to kind of shift my own energy because just even talking about it, the situation really wears me down. So I'm going to play the full mix of Like an Angel, and I'm going to thank all you guys for hanging out tonight. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Of course, Saturday's typically Katie Rant night, so be ready for it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, just for fun. I let loose on Saturday. So much love to everybody. Thanks again.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Somewhere like a dream, your world washed over me and took me far away, so very far away. Made sense of all things wrong, gave hope where all was gone. What do I need to say, really need to say? Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. faith back into truth completely, so completely. Held strong when others ran, gave my heart a place to stand, and you saved me, more than saved me. Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms.
Video provided by VerdictProductions.com.